Well, this segment, Holly, we're going to talk about growing indoors over winter, and it's sponsored by Happy Leaf LED grow lights. You can use coupon code Joey Holly to get 10% off your order of $90 or more at happyleafled.com. A professional grade grow light with a home gardener's affordability. So there's things in which are very easy to grow indoors, and there's things which take a little bit more education and technique and equipment.
Sure. So first thing you want to do is it'd be helpful to figure out what you want to grow, but also to find a designated spot. So this might be kind of twofold, where you know how much space you have, or you determine what you want to grow and then you decide what space you have, kind of whatever works best for you and what you have, I guess available is the best word. And
start simple if you've never done this before.
Yeah, definitely. And I think also knowing if you want to try something like hydroponics or like a passive hydroponics, or even growing in a neutral material like coco coir or something like that.
And Happy Leaf LED has multiple videos. HappyLeafLED.com has multiple videos on their website and tools in which you can go from I don't know what I'm doing to look what I grew in a matter of, just a few short weeks. Very detailed and professional information, which you can grow anything basically inside HappyLeafLED.com. So we've got Happy Leaf LED grow lights. We've grown year round. We've grown tomatoes that were 700 days old. We've grown as simple as leaf lettuce. And I think leaf lettuce or leafy greens or cilantro are things in which one can grow very simply and successfully with very little knowledge in the realm of gardening indoors under grow lights.
Absolutely. And some of those, even if maybe you want to use a grow light, but you also want to use a window or something like that, you can definitely grow like herbs, microgreens. Those can be grown by a window that gets some decent sunlight, like a south-facing window or even an east or west window.
And the advantage to growing herbs indoors, whether using the Happy Leaf LED or that south-facing window, is you can have them year-round, and they don't require, full blazing 12 hours of sunlight. They can get away with minimal amount of sunlight and still do very well. We've had herbs grow in our south-facing window, hanging baskets, sage, and basil for years. And flowers are still there. They've been there for years without any assistance of artificial light.
Absolutely. And you don't need necessarily artificial light. I think another thing is that you want to do your research. And I don't know if a lot of people always do this. They might impulsively buy an herb kit or something like that at the store, or even gifted something like that. And maybe it's herbs that are harder to grow or grow.
I think they're kind of gimmicky.
Yeah, grow differently, because rosemary takes a while. Up
to 30 days to get them things to germinate.
And then something like cilantro will grow pretty quickly.
You can grow that in a party cup. You go to our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, and in the search bar put growing cilantro year round. We've got a video in which you can do it in party cups, in succession, and in your window. And you can have cilantro all year round. It doesn't matter where you're at.
Right. Yep, that's exactly correct.
So let's talk about some of the things that may be a little more difficult. Now, people, your mileage will vary based on how much, there's YouTube videos, good ones and bad ones, in regards to, hey, I want to grow this. Is it feasible? Is it worth my time? Is the reward, what's the end result? Am I just wanting to know that I grew a cucumber indoors, or am I wanting to grow a lot of something in order to have it used in a meal or meals? Because you've got to figure out what kind of effort input do you want to put into it, expecting an export of that energy.
Right. And we've grown a few things indoors, and some of them were very successful.
And other ones were unnecessary.
Yep. And just kind of, I don't want to say gimmicky, because it's not like we bought a kit or something like that, but it wasn't I guess a sustainable
No.
option. If we weren't the gardeners that we are, if we were just regular home gardeners
Like you,
I don't think we would have done that, and that's okay. So one thing that we did grow was Tiny Tim tomatoes for 2 years,
700 days plus.
Yeah.
And that's not a really difficult plant to grow. Keep it under grow lights. I think it was 12 on, 12 off, 10 on, 14 off, something like that. And they grew fine. And they would produce about every 30 days. You get them. We had 3 of them in 1 gallon grow bags from rootmaker.com. And they would produce about half of a cereal bowl full of tomatoes every month. And it worked really, really well. I don't think that's a difficult thing to grow. Now, potatoes, peppers, green beans, now you're getting in the realm of more challenging. Growing peppers indoors, we have found, was just very difficult for reasons that we still have not figured out what we did wrong. Green beans, you have to have a lot in order to get some.
And we did that, I think, in hydroponics.
Yes, in hydroponics.
Yeah.
And potatoes, again, you have to have temperature control, light, moisture, all of these things. You have to have the proper control of light, that you don't have too much light, and make sure you have enough light. So you want to start out simplistic and then work your way up to more advanced, wherever you're at on the spectrum of growing indoors or gardening in general.
Exactly. And you want to just kind of, keep in mind that just because you saw it on a social media post, that it's not necessarily going to go that way for you.
Now, I will say, Holly, and I'm not trying to push the product, but they're a sponsor, and we've used them for going on 10 years now, 13 years now. Happy Leaf revolutionized how we started seeds and how we grew things indoors because of the technology and the spectrum of light in them. The people at Happy Leaf having the engineering degree, understanding what a plant requires in order to grow correctly.
No, and I completely agree. There is a lot of science there, and it's proven science and tested science, and even just for us,
the good science.
Yeah, the good science. Even just for us, knowing that there is an engineer there who has designed this to make it successful, as opposed to maybe some random grow light you pick up at the home
offline, made from somewhere in some other country that's El Cheapo.
Right, and these are made in the USA,
Yep.
and they're the company's in Northern Illinois, and it's a husband and wife team. And when you talk to the owner, the guy who created this, he's very passionate about it. It's very hands-on.
He tells you what's going on, but he doesn't talk over your head.
Right, very grassroots, like not some sort of big corporation. And I think for me, that's why we continue to also work with them, because they are who they are.
They're like us.
Yeah, they're just like us.
They're just like you.
Yeah.
That they are the neighbor you always wanted to have, or you have currently. They'll help you when you need help. They'll stay out of the way when you don't want them around.
Yeah, they're very nice, respectful people.
But I'm saying, if you've never grown indoors, you're missing an opportunity. Whether you're growing a basil, cilantro, herbs in the window, or you take another step and grow Tiny Tim tomatoes or lettuce on a repetitive succession planting, you're missing an opportunity in which you can grow a little bit of freshness and give yourself some knowledge, earned knowledge over the winter when you can't grow in some parts of the country because there's 37 inches of snow outside.
Yeah, and for me, I think that it's nice because if you get a little bit of the seasonal blues, winter blues, whatever you want to call it, it does give you kind of a pick-me-up. I remember one day when we were growing tomatoes, one year I had a tomato sandwich on, I think, like Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, and it's a nice little, like, hey, I grew this, and it's the beginning of winter, and I have this tasty breakfast. I think I ate it for breakfast.
And the lights have the spectrum of what the sun is, but obviously not as intense. But it can help we're not doctors, and we don't know, one's seasonal lack of excitement. Because of the way the
winter
light,
blues.
The winter blues, the ways the light illuminates, it gives you that warmth that you're maybe lacking.
Yeah, it could.
And they have said that people will put their lights in their living quarters because they're so natural to the sun, and it kind of gives the people who have them in their living quarters a pick-me-up that normal lights don't provide.
That makes sense. So this is our first year where we haven't had it, or this will be our first fall where we haven't had it going because our Tiny Tims
Right.
didn't. They perished.
Yeah, right.
So I guess we'll have to see. Maybe you'll have to end up turning it on.
Yeah. So with that being said, Holly, WaltonsInc.com also has a coupon code. Happy Leaf was Joey Holly to save 10% on orders over $90 or more at HappyLeafLED.com. And Waltons has everything but the meat at WaltonsInc.com.
Yeah, absolutely. We're brought to you today by our sponsor, Waltons Inc. We know you care about where your food comes from. Canning and preserving your fruits and vegetables is great, but what about the meat? We're coming upon deer harvest and other wildlife harvest season. You can get all the equipment, seasoning, and supplies to make sausage, jerky, and any other meat product your way to your high standard. Do you want to make snack sticks that people will actually like? Walton's created meatgistics.com, an informational site to help you make the best finished product. Walton's even has a full line of their own meat grinders, mixers, and sausage stuffers to help you go from animal to edible. If you go to waltonsinc.com, you use code GROW50, GROW50 to save 10% off orders of $50 or more. For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.